So I guess fast forwarding, as far as like things that you've accomplished, now you in your adult life.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things like in your 20s that you were able to say, you know what, I did that?
Oh gosh, in my 20s to be able to say I did that. Well, see, in my 20s, I was still very. At this time, I was with my ex that I was with for 16 years, and we were very, very big in the church. I had a great church family. We did a lot.
Did y'all go to
of
the
things.
same church with the pastor?
Yes, that was. The
Oh
same church.
wow!
So you went back
Wait,
to the
so
church
you and
that
your
you
husband?
left?
No, it's not back. That was just still part of that whole process.
So you and your husband were actually going, well, your ex-husband were going to church at the same church that you were having conflict with the pastor's wife.
Right.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was
Wow.
the church we went to. Yep.
Like,
and
well,
so
you don't see my husband over here. Why are you trying to be with me?
yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So and that was I really loved that time though that we had because it was a family, and that's what I really love is family. Like that's my thing. So being a part of a church community where it's not like your big TD Jakes churches where everybody doesn't know each other.
Yeah.
Like I liked that intimate setting. We did everything together. I mean, like we did, picnics together and Bible studies at each other's houses. I mean, we did vacations together, like, like the leadership team and their families. We did all those kind of things together. So it was a great experience. We had a great run there, but then, getting, and then that's when, like I was saying, my ex had built a studio in the basement and he was encouraging me to get back into music. But I was so scorned by what I had gone through at the church that I didn't even want to sing anymore.
Wow.
I was like, nope, I don't want it.
So they encouraged you that much that it just kind of stole your joy from
Mm-hmm, 100%. And so I would never go down in there. And then, so he was talking to me about it and he was like, I feel like, he could feel me kind of like pulling away. And he was like, I feel like, there's a void. He was like, what do you think that's missing in your life? What's the void? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, I think it's music. And he said, and I think you need to get back into it. And I literally said to him, I said, I don't want to do it because I feel like if I do, I'm going to lose my family.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he was like, why would you say that? I said, because I really feel like it's going to pull me away. Because again, like I said, it was already a struggle to be with him. Yeah. And you get me out here to my love.
You were basically saying, I barely like you. I get out here and find something else. You're going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean,
in so many words.
So many words.
Say that, like,
yeah, basically. Yeah, wow. But he was like, he'd rather me go out there and do that than to stay there and resent him.
That's a noble thing to say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. That's a good guy.
And how far after you left the church did you actually end that relationship? Was it some years?
Oh yeah, no, it was some years. I would say maybe 8 years, maybe 7 or 8 years after that. Because we went on a run, Look, Beyonce, Jay-Z, we went on the run. With my music career, traveling.
Y'all went all in on.
Went all in.
You're doing secular music now.
No, that was gospel music.
You were
at
still
the
doing
time.
gospel.
No, this was me doing gospel in a professional way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is me reaching back out to my old manager saying, listen, I know you don't know much about the gospel industry, but this is what I want to do. So he, worked whatever connections
he didn't
had.
have any experience.
No, his whole thing was secular.
So you took him into the fire pit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, but I mean, even just like what I did, with my time that I had in that industry was like things they had never seen before. Because see, I brought the professionalism and the expertise of the secular world into the gospel industry. So like my music video that came out, nobody in gospel had a music video like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I would show them, this was my CD, Lessons in Love, from the gospel industry. When they saw, the jacket and how everything was put together, the pictures, they had never seen anything like that before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I brought that level there, and just because of how I marketed and promoted and showed up everywhere for everything. I don't consider myself to have what's considered a gospel voice, right? I was more like the Mary J. Blige of the gospel industry. Mm-hmm. I got on big shows with major artists just because of my representation, because of how I showed up, because of the aura that I had around me. And they were like, yo, if you wanted to sell tickets and you wanted to be, you better get her on that show.
Yeah.
Yes, that was how I got on Dietrich's show. That's how I did things with Fred Hammond. You know, being able to be around and interview and hang out with like Kirk Franklin. You know, they gave me, and Marvin Sapp, they gave me, and even Yolanda Adams. And I know a lot of times Yolanda Adams gets a bad rap from people and they say a lot of negative things about her, but she was always very kind to me.
So you worked with some of the biggest of the
Oh yeah. Nothing but love. You know, I had a lot of love, you know, from those people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm appreciative of every experience that I had, and they showed me a lot of love, like doing the Dove Awards, doing Stellar Awards, because I did also some media and doing interviews and stuff like that for different networks. And where certain people couldn't get in the door and do interviews, where they were like, "I'm done," they saw my face and were like, "She can come in, bring her in." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was all love.
Oh, that's cool.
That's real good. Was it any of those celebrities, gospel celebrities, that you was like fame struck from? That you was just like, I'm just happy to be right here in the room or here with them?
Well, I don't think that I was ever starstruck in the gospel industry, but those that influenced me in my younger years when I had given my life to the Lord would have been like the Winans, which I never really had a chance to really meet them. But I did have a chance to meet the Clark sisters and be with them, like on the One Love Gospel Cruise. And then Fred Hammond was probably the biggest of all of them, who was a big influence on my life because his music was so, it was closer to the secular sound than any of the other gospel music. You know what I'm saying? So
people forget that when they came out, they being Fred Hammond, Kirk Franklin, kind of that early 90s era, how different that gospel music was than everything else. Nothing like that sounded like that since Andre Crouch. Well, Crouch,
you're right.
Andre Crouch is the originator.
There you go. You're right.
Yeah, mixing that secular with gospel, but
so that urban sound.
It was almost R&B. It was close. It was really close.
Yeah. So whereas Fred never really crossed over, but Kirk did. Yeah. And so me being able to share that space with Fred, meeting him
y'all had a really close relationship. Y'all had a really close relationship.
Oh yeah. I mean, I lived with him for 1 year. He's the one responsible for bringing me here to Texas.
Oh, okay.
He's also the one responsible. That's how I met my current beau. So, because he was executive protective officer for Fred. And
so he was doing the security for Fred. So yeah, a little bodyguard situation.
Exactly. Yeah. So
shout out to my guy
Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner type situation. Yeah, we had an instant connection. But Radio 1 used to do a One Love Gospel Cruise every year.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so I was one of those artists on there every year. So I mean, you know, we are on there with all of the major artists and independent artists and things like that, and doing shows together and just kind of cohabitating and, you know, with all of them. So that was where I got to spend a lot of time. Donnie McClurkin, God bless him. I love that man. He always showed me a lot of love. He gives the best hugs. And so it was a really good time. I was really out there with all of those people at the Dove Awards. And actually, I was one of the first, it was the 24th anniversary of the Stellar Awards, where they had the first urban gospel showcase. And that was me. I was on that.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It had never been done before.
Wow.
Yep. So there's some footage out there on YouTube. Y'all check it out. But yeah, so it's pretty
Do you
cool.
ever miss those days of doing gospel music and being so close into it?
I don't know if I miss those days per se, because just the politics of it all, I don't really enjoy. Yeah. I would say that I recently realized that I miss songwriting. So that would be something that I would love to get back into. I mean, I have a prolific songwriting gift and ability. So I would love to be able to get back into that. But the music industry has changed so much that I wouldn't want to get back into it in that perspective. But
Fred Hammond is how you end up getting to Texas. How did that pan out? How did that happen?
How did that happen, or how did it pan out?
That's not pan question. Out. How did it happen? It's so to kind of catch us up of where we are right now.
Okay.
You got a pretty good music career in the gospel world. You're married. You're working with big gospel artists. You are in particular working with Fred Hammond.
So
you live with him,
right? But I wasn't working with him at the time. So I got to actually make a personal connection with him on the One Love cruise, and that was through
so
Angel.
you met him on the cruise.
I had met him before, but that's what I'm saying. We were able to really connect, right? So I had met him, shows and awards and all that kind of stuff in passing, right? But this is where I actually got to connect with him, and that was as a result of Angel, right, who is my current beau. And then also one of my friends back then named Lydia, right? Fred loved the girls, my girlfriend, whatever. And he was just like, hey, can you introduce me to your girl, whatever, what have you. So I introduced them, and they ended up hitting it off really, really well. That's awesome. And so
Boy, Fred, look at Fred.
Yeah.
No weapon, huh? I see you, Fred. No weapon, huh? Fred's get it in. I see you, Fred.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Buddy. So we just, he had offered me a job, and he was, and it was kind of like, he was moving the young lady and her family to be with him because they were together. She was moving in with him. And, she was just like, Angie, you should come with me, whatever. And, so I had been kind of like helping them out and working with them. And he offered me a job. And I was like, well, you know what? I've been wanting to get to Texas anyway because I came here and did a promo tour, and I really fell in love with the people. And I was like, this would be a great opportunity. So I took him up on the job offer, and I moved with him and stayed with him for a year, until I got my own place. So things did not pan out the way that I wanted them to, which, if you want to find out the story, you should get the book. But, yeah. So, there's a lot of things that, so basically I was doing very, very well in my career until I took that position with Fred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of went south, didn't pan out like you wanted it.
No, he's not the man that I thought that he was.
Oh.
Yep. But I'm always somebody like a cat that land on her feet. I'm a touchdown kind of chick.
Yeah.
So
and you landed on your feet in Texas at the end of it.
But
and up until this portion of your life, you had been based out of DMV, even though you had traveled.
I had a short stint in Georgia.
Okay.
In Dallas, Georgia, believe it or not.
Dallas.
So I had a short stint in there, did a lot of shows and stuff at a place called the Sea Room. So shout out to Sergio Kroom. So that was really fun, being out there. So I was there for about a year, and then I transitioned and moved here.
Oh, okay. Popped up in Texas.
Yeah.
So now you're here in Texas, and you doing your thing. You're still doing music, or
no? I haven't done music in a long time. So when I came, after that whole thing, went south with Fred. I was just, again, like what happened with the church, where I was so scorned. I wanted nothing to do with it. Then I went through this with Fred, and I'm like, you know what? This was bad. Even like, Dietrich reached out to me and just, gave me love and stuff like that. Just kind of reading in between the lines. Yeah. There were a lot of people at that time that weren't really, and there were a lot of people that were kind of distancing themselves from Fred as well because of things that just, everybody had their own individual experiences with him.
Yeah.
And so I had to get a job. I had left my ex-husband, and then I was in this new hot and heavy relationship with Angel, right? The bodyguard.
The bodyguard.
And then found myself pregnant with my now 10-year-old.
Wow.
So then it was like, okay, so now I've got to bring my other kids here because I'm no longer with my ex, and now I've got this new baby on the way. I can't be traveling the world and doing music like, like I need to, help my kids heal from this breakup. I've got to heal, and I've got a new baby that I have to be able to take care of. So I went and got a job, and I'm gonna tell you, and I was 40. I was 40. Yeah, I was 42. And listen, job, in my opinion, stands for just over broke.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I did not
What
want
were you doing?
a job. I actually worked at a company called PCI, Publishing Concepts Incorporated, and they basically produced the directories for colleges for the alumni. And so we basically
like the little books they give out.
Exactly. Right. So it was one of those, jobs where I had to call people and read a script and get them to buy the book and selling the T-shirt and the hat and the cups and all that stuff. I hated as a matter of fact, when they hired me, I didn't even make it through the training process. I'm serious. I found myself in the stairwell of that place in tears.
Oh, wow.
Like, this cannot be my life. Yes. I was like, this cannot be my life. Like, what, I can't do this. And they were so damn nice. And they were just like, oh, because I made up some story. Somebody died in the family or something. It was just like, oh, I got to go home.
Wait, so you went straight to killing people?
I did.
Straight. Yeah, somebody dead. I gotta leave.
I did. And they were just like, it's okay. You know, your job is secure. You know, fuck. I do not want this job. And they were just like, just, you know, get yourself together and come back. Your job will be here. And I'm like, damn. You know, so I was thankful, but at the same time, I didn't want it.
Yeah.
But I did what I had to do for 2 years. And then I just woke up one day. I mean, and I tried, like, I think I tried everything to try to get fired and everything. Like, they so nice. Yes, they would not. And I was just like, my life, like, this can't be the end of my story, right? I was like, something has got to give. And I was on Instagram one day and saw the woman who was actually my fitness instructor back in my early days in music when I was touring and stuff. Mm-hmm. She would get me in shape. She was a fitness instructor. And she was just in her boat on the water talking about, you know, being in her mobile office and all this. And I was like, what is she doing? And I called her up and asked her, you know, what was she doing? I had searched her up on Facebook and she looked like her life was grandiose and mine was in shambles. And she told me about Pure Romance, which is how I ended up getting into the sexual healthcare industry. Yeah.
Wow.
And so she brought me in and, you know, fast forward, I've been doing this for 8 years and it's opened a lot of doors for me. Mm-hmm. Getting certified, you know, being able to write my book, starting the reality show, all of that, you know, so it's been great.